What's going on, guys? Charles Weinraub here, aka the Handsome Homebuyer, and on today's educational vlog episode, we're going to be talking about fix or build new. What's easier? What's better? So everybody has different strategies. So some people like to fix and flip. Some people like new construction. Myself, for me, I like to do everything. I like to flip. I like to throw dormers on. I like to do new construction. The reason why I like to do that is because I want to have basically a good mix of business, and I like this philosophy in every type of business, that you always have money going, you always have deals coming in, regardless of the way the market shifts, things that happen. 100% of your business is not impacted. With that said, let's forget about all this for a second, and let's talk about just flipping versus new construction, the pros and cons, and based on just that in this little kind of microcosm of a world that I'm going to create, which do I feel is easier and better for new investors? And my answer might shock you. So flipping, what are the pros of both flipping and new construction? The pros to flipping are, it's easier to find, right? There's a lot more houses that need to be renovated than bare land. There's less capital required typically, right? If you're doing a first-time home buyer house, it's a lot less money to acquire the house and then renovate it than it is to buy land, especially in this area, in Nassau County and Suffolk County, Long Island, build a brand new house from scratch, and then resell it. Shorter turnaround time. Definitely much quicker turnaround time to buy a house, renovate it, and put it back on the market than to build a house from scratch, complete it, and then sell it. So like a typical turnaround time on a flip, I would budget for 6 months. On a new construction house, you're talking about 9 to 12 months, depending on the township you're in, the permit process, and the extent of the build is just how big and elaborate it is. Okay, less moving pieces in a flip. This is kind of like yes and no, but overall there's less moving pieces in the flip because again, the house is already erected. You're going to be doing electrical, plumbing, and this and that, but you're not starting from scratch. You're not starting from nothing. Okay, larger market, especially if you're in the first-time home buyer sector of the market, you're going to have much higher demand. You're going to have much more people looking to buy your product than if you're building a higher end, mid to higher end new construction home. Obviously, new construction is typically more expensive depending on the market. And you're less impacted by market shifts. So if the market starts to take a crapperoo for any kind of reason, the higher end houses are typically the ones that get hit hardest, fastest, right? Because first time home buyer, there's always people coming to the market that need a new house, and then there's people that are trading up from that. If values drop and you have people in new construction, or if you have people in like that middle level type of house, those people are stuck or they're going to lose money. They have to wait for the market to come back up. So typically there might be more product on the market. So the first time home buyer market is really the safest if you can get the product, but obviously the product is hardest to get. The pros of new construction, it's new from a work standpoint, meaning everything you're dealing with is new. Brand new, which is, I mean, there's a beautiful thing to just have everything be brand new and not have to worry about, mold that was there before, or termite damage, or what the electrician and the plumber in the past did. It's straightforward. It is straightforward. Basically, you work off a plan. There are guys that I know that are like, yo, I build houses off my phone and I never see it. It's very straightforward process. It's the foundation guy goes in there, and the framer goes in there, then the electrician goes in, then the plumber goes in, the HVAC, the roofer. Like it's it's like a choreographed dance that's pretty much set and straightforward, right? It's easy to price, and this is a big thing that'll come back later when we get to my ultimate decision, which is there's no mystery, right? There's no mystery. You're basically giving someone the plan and everybody's pricing off the plan. So you send a plan over to either a general contractor or you send it out to all the different trades. Everybody gives you pricing, and there you go. It's that easy. And there's typically very little strange things that happen. You're not gonna open up a wall and find termite damage or something because there is no wall. You're building everything brand new. Okay, less attention is needed, like I said. Now, let me preface that by saying you obviously need to pay attention and monitor your subs and make sure they're doing what they need to do, but it doesn't require the, up to the minute kind of quick decisions that a fix and flip requires when things are found out that people were unaware of before. And back to the new again, everybody loves new, meaning everybody loves a brand new house on the sale side. So that also makes, that's also a pro of new construction. All right, so now we're gonna go to the cons. We're on the other side of the coin, the cons of both flipping and new construction. So with flipping, And I can't speak about every area. All I can speak about is Long Island, New York, which is, I mean, I would argue one of the most, if not the most competitive markets out there. Competition is insane. Anybody out there, most of your average, even to larger investors, having huge problems getting inventory right now if you're looking to flip, especially in that first-time home buyer segment of the market. More attention needed, like I was saying before. There's things that'll happen. A guy will open up a wall or this or that, where you'll need split-second decision-making to keep a project going. That doesn't so much happen on a new construction. It's definitely harder to GC. So what are you going to do? Because it's kind of like a mixed bag of things, it's harder to use just regular trades. You need kind of like an all-in-one-S type of crew. Most very successful flippers that I know open up their own construction companies, essentially because that's the way you take advantage of the pricing to get these things to make sense while still offer a very good quality product. You're going in blind, so you don't know what's behind the walls, and you're gonna set a renovation budget. Once you do enough of these things, you get it, but there are still times where you open up a wall and something goes horribly wrong and you had no idea, and all of a sudden, you know, you're exhausting your contingency. That's why typically on new construction, you have, let's say, like a 5 to 8% contingency. For those of you who don't know, it's if you have a budget of $100,000, you're going to put a line item above and beyond that of $5,000 to $8,000 for stuff that might go wrong that you weren't aware of. When you're doing a renovation or a fix and flip type of project, your contingency jumps up to 20% because, again, you don't know. So if you have a $100,000 budget, you're gonna have a 20% contin line of $20,000 for, oh, what could go wrong here? And oftentimes you're blowing right through that. Big reno contin, like I said. You have a much bigger reno contin here because there's variables that you just can't account for. Okay, the cons of new construction: more capital needed. It is usually much more capital intensive than a fix and flip. You know, if I'm buying a fix and flip for $200,000, that's getting sold for $350 or $400, whatever it is, it's not that crazy. But on a new construction house, there are cases where I'm buying land for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, building a 3,000 square foot house, 4,000 square foot house, and then selling for $850,000 to $1.3, $1.4 million. It's obviously a lot more capital intensive. Okay, it appears harder. It does. It appears a lot more overwhelming to people to have to take something from literally nothing and build everything and go through all the permit process and everything else. It's more market sensitive. Like I was saying earlier, if there's a shift in the market, typically the higher price point houses are the ones that are affected first, where the first-time home buyers are, there are always people coming of age that are looking to buy their first house regardless of where you are in the market cycle. Okay. More sensitive to material cost increases, right? That's something huge that we've been seeing right now. You don't use as much material, obviously, in a fix and flip, so it isn't as significant. But if you're doing a new construction home, I mean, there's lumber packages on your average house that has gone anywhere from, you know, they were $20,000 a year ago, and now they're $45,000. If you're doing a development or if you're doing a number of homes, you could really get banged up if the pricing isn't adjusting accordingly, and that's a very aggressive increase in pricing that you would need on the resale side in order to make up for that. Luckily now in this market, it's been okay, but for how much longer, I don't know. Material prices are definitely a huge problem right now at this point in time. And for new construction, less supply of land. I can't speak for everywhere. Obviously in other states, there's tons of tracts of land where people are just cranking out whole communities. In Long Island, New York, we are 100% built out. There is no land. You basically have to create land. You have to take houses and land and do subdivisions or find one-offs, or when after repair values of new construction reach a certain point, you're buying older capes and ranches and things like that, knocking them down and building new houses. So here are the cons of flipping versus new construction. What do I think is easiest? Let's find out. So which do I think is easier? Now after being in the business 6 years and doing everything from commercial development to new homes to fix and flip homes. Believe it or not, if you're somebody who's just getting into the business, and you're gonna do the proper research, education, and due diligence, I think new construction is actually easier. And this is why. For most people, the overwhelming majority of people that get into the fix and flip game with new construction, or basically real estate investing as a whole, they don't have heavy construction backgrounds. right? They're more business people or whatnot. Like for me, that was the hardest thing. The hardest thing for me was understanding how much it was going to cost. And there's a lot of variables in pricing that go into fix and flip. Like there's also a lot more people looking at fix and flip. So if I'm thinking about it from a logical standpoint of how you get educated in regards to pricing on new construction, it's pretty simple. You're going to figure out your after repair value of what a new construction house sells for, as well as a flip. But on the construction end, you can even go to the building department and you can request a FOIL for a new house that was built in the area that you've seen. So let's say you're driving around, you see a new house built, you go down to the local building department, you say, hey, listen, I'd like a copy of the plans. You pay whatever it is, even if it's $100 for the copies, they print it out for you, right? Or you can call up the architect if you find out who the architect is, and you can get them to sell you the copies of the plans, not the actual CAD file that's going to be filed. So you can then take that plan and you could call up 3 sheetrockers, 3 plumbers, 3 electricians, 3 foundation guys, 3 roofers, 3 windows, whatever it is. You could send this out to everybody. This is part of your education, your due diligence before ever doing a deal. And you can get pricing on all these things. And you could put together essentially an Excel spreadsheet and a pricing matrix that can give you a very, very solid price per square foot to build. So once you have that down, and during that process of getting all the pricing, you're meeting all different kinds of subcontractors. You're building a team of subcontractors, getting their pricing, and establishing a price per square foot to build new construction. And again, there's not a ton of surprises that come when you're building new construction once you have a final plan. If you're changing the plan, that's different. Or if you're changing the interior finishes and going higher end, that's different. But that will give you a really concrete idea. Really, dude? Really? A really concrete idea of, you're that guy, of what it costs to build new. So with that said, if you're new to the game and you're thinking about getting into it, you have less competition, although there's not as much supply of land, and I feel like the educational process might be easier and more straightforward if you follow the method that I just laid out. I appreciate you watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit us up with other things that you're interested in learning in the real estate world, and we're happy to make whatever videos you want. Next time.